So apparently, what is being expressed is this never moves. Nothing has ever occurred. Nothing has ever happened. Nothing has ever moved. Everything that moves is an appearance. Everything that flickers in and out is an illusion, a movement. There's no closer or further from what is. There's no measurement. There are no almost there to what is. This is the full stop. No backwards and no forwards. No before and after. This intimacy has no other. There's no there. There's no here. Oh, shit, it's recording. Okay. This location, less stillness, is bare. It's stripped naked. There are no other moments. This is perfectly still. It's like an infinite now, not as an idea, not as a knowing, with a never-ending wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is not moving. Nothing has ever moved. Nothing has ever changed. It's always been this way. And there's no comparison. No such thing as comparison. This appearance comes and goes, but they're only appearances. It's like traveling on a plane, seemingly going from one distance to thousands of miles, yet nothing has ever moved. It's like seeking. From the very beginning of seeking, glimpses, whatever seems to happen, lacking. This is not true. Nothing has ever happened. Nothing has ever happened. It's simply, completely, obviously that without these appearances, in the absence of thoughts, in the absence of the idea of seeking, in the absence of absence, nothing has ever moved. This is completely still. It's a mystery. Not a paradox, but like a paradox, but this is stillness. In this stillness, there seems to be an idea of, I got this, I don't got this, almost there. There was a glimpse. Something happened. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. There's this mythology of beginning and ending, kind of like the mythology of Genesis and then the Armageddon, the apocalypse. But those are just stories. There seems to be that stories like flipping pages, but nothing has ever occurred. What seemingly is occurring, this seeming happening, this seeming talking, and trying to express that nothing has ever happened, is a conundrum. It can't be thought of. It can't be imagined. It's unspeakable. It's unknowable. There's no, I know this. No. Who knows this? It's impossible. All illusion is a movement. Everything that will come up will be a thought, including that, and that, and that, and that. But since they're just appearances, this is the immovable home, the unknowable isness. It's like, again, traveling, speeding through a highway and nothing is moving. But it can't be caught because what's trying to grasp it is moving. What's trying to recognize it is a movement, is an appearance. It's a flicker, it's a thought, it's an idea, it's a concept, it's a belief. All of those are appearances. Nothing has changed. It's always this. It's completely this. Full stop, full stop, full stop. And seemingly, there's going to be movements or appearances of movements. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't see stillness. I don't see the full stop. This is beyond comprehension, and it's not something that knows it here, or something that it doesn't know it there, because here and there are just movements. And seemingly, there's this seeking, like a merry-go-round that goes in a circle over and over again, but it is completely still. Nothing has ever moved. This is stripping everything naked. This is peeling off the paint. This could be boring because nothing has ever moved. And when it's expressed that it's always been this way, it's the stillness of everything. It's the perfection. Judgments, critiques, ideas, thoughts. It's like a dream, isn't it? In the dream, a nighttime dream, for example, there's going to be an explosion of thoughts and colors and all of this kind of stuff. And yet, when there's a seeing that what seemed to have happened, that was based on a reality, that's based on a thought, that's based on nothing. So nothing has ever moved. No one has ever died. No one has ever been born. No one has ever known. Simply no one, simply not two. Every single movement, every single thought that arises, every single knowing, or even a misunderstanding or frustration is a movement. And there's nothing wrong with movements. But as a reminder again, although it seems like all of this is just an explosion of movement, a pulsating, a flickering, a going in and out, I feel like a me, but sometimes I'm a bee. Meing and being. It's just movements. There's no such thing as a meing or a being. These are just appearances. This is immeasurable because nothing has ever moved. This never moves. When it's expressed that it's just this, full stop. Simply this, full stop. And there's a grabbing it, like, what's this? Is it somewhere here? Is it there? Is it? Where can I find this? It's this, nothing. It is not a koan. It's not a secret. It's not an understanding. It's not a knowing. It's not like, I almost got this figured out. But nothing has ever moved. It goes back into that clean slate. The clean slate that cannot be changed. It's like writing on an etch a sketch, like one of those paper. There can be written everything, you know, like it could be the history, the mystery of life. The moment that you pull out the screen, nothing has ever been written. There are no scriptures to this. There's no wisdom. It may appear as this wise fool saying that there's nothing has ever moved, but those are just words. Those are just movements and expressing what is already obvious. And before you get to think of what is obvious, that's a movement. That's a trying to grasp it, that's trying to understand it. But this unknowable stillness has never changed. Has always been here. But there's no here, because that's just, where's here? Here, here, here. In this unmovable here. So the world might collapse, the sun might die, new planets might be born, but nothing has ever moved. So there might be seeking, there might be an ending of seeking, but nothing has ever moved. And it's not obvious to someone, but it's obvious for no one. Let's open up the conversation about this. Thank you. Hey, Eligio.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
Oh, my! You want my video?
Yes, of course. I haven't seen you in a moon or a couple of moons. I don't know.
Where
I haven't seen you in a while. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Hang on. Let's see here.
There we go.
I was I'm writing a book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, I don't want to be a speaker, but it's a guidebook or instruction manual to be a non-dual speaker.
Do you need help?
First question.
Just looking.
First question is, do you think it'll sell millions?
Yes, of course. Just joking.
Yeah.
No.
And let's see. And
Ileana, I have to send you that. I just remembered Ileana. Ileana, I have to send you those pages. Sorry. Go back to Eligio. Sorry. I'm writing a book as well, and Ileana's there, and she's like, the book that we're supposed to finish. I also have a book coming up. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What's the title? Do you have a title yet?
What's the title? I don't remember.
That's a good one.
Oh, I have two titles. They have two books. This book, the book about this is not a book.
Okay. I want to keep it down to 10 rules and principles. Can you give me one, please?
I don't know. I'm just joking to see if I would help you. I really don't know. You know, it's I guess I'm a failure as a radical non-duality speaker because I'm going back into my job. So please don't ask me.
Oh, are you?
I'm already back. Yeah, I'm already 2 weeks in back in the corporate job. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna quit doing this, or you're gonna do it side job?
I'm gonna do it. I love it. So yeah.
Okay.
Not as often. So maybe but who knows? Who knows? I might get fired tomorrow. I don't know. I'm very absent-minded at work, so.
If you had to think of one, would you think of a guideline?
I don't know, really, to be honest. I can't really think of anything right now.
Okay.
But if you publish it, please send it to me so maybe I can go back into full-time speaking. Maybe that's the book that I needed.
I'll send you a free copy. I'll send you a signed copy.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Eligio.
Hey, Emerson.
Hi.
Hey,
Harvey.
how are you?
I'm good.
Hi.
Hi.
That intro was intense.
Yeah.
And my mind is on tilt.
Yeah.
So let me just, and I could feel the mind trying to grasp it or figure.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So a lot of times when I'm hearing, let's say I hear like Jim Newman, and he'll say appearances are the absolute, or
Yeah.
or the appearance is it, things like that. The appearance is it, or the appearance is this.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's almost like, or all happenings are it. Okay,
Yeah.
but in a way, it almost sounded like something like the etch a sketches, the context and the content.
Yeah.
But so I guess also too, when I hear Tony, like Tony will say like contracted energies. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to reconcile. I'm not saying contradiction, but it's like my mind is trying to put a puzzle together. I can't do it.
Yeah, of course. What's being expressed here is kind of like there was not a shift really, or just kind of like a simplicity that when it became just, I think about 2 months ago, I started speaking that it's just words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
Just words, right? So every single thought that will come up, contraction, there seems to be, I've been doing a lot of one-on-ones and a lot of people that have gone through, uncompromising. The ideas, what I'm saying, gets caught up as a truth, as an absolute. There's no such thing as an absolute. That's a position. So when there's this seemingly kind of like when it's communicated, and again, you know what Tony and Jim has communicated, they're brilliant and sharp and everything. There's just basically a not a reconciling, but just basically, it's just what is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like for example, the way that we're speaking right now, there's this obviousness here that nothing is moving, but it also feels like that there's a conversation happening.
So, okay, so here's something that
okay. See, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to do, but I'm just trying to express that it can't be reconciled. It can't be thought of. It's incomprehensible.
And that resonates.
Yes.
Very, very deeply.
Yeah.
But even when, well, this is maybe sort of the mind again, but even to say it's a dream.
Yes.
Even to say that feels, conceptually, it all makes sense. But even to say it's a dream even seems like too much.
It is.
Too many words.
It is too many words, right? But the way that it's expressed, that even though it's being expressed that this is a dream, it's also not that. Meaning that it can't be understood, right? It has to be expressed somehow in words, and but it's not a position. It's not a position, because a dream is like ether. You know what I'm saying? It's just it cannot really be understood because it doesn't need to be understood. Does that make any sense? Because it is just happening, but not happening.
It does. It's almost like everything as what is, and not trying to say it's a dream, not a dream. It's just
exactly.
What is.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be, or whatever that is. It's just not trying to do anything or try to figure it out, or or even to say it's an appearance. It's just is. That's.
I had a 6 o'clock in the morning one-on-one. And then that when I mentioned that nothing has ever moved, there was a collapse. There was just like, that's what's being expressed here, right? Because when it's seeing that what's moving, it's kind of like what's trying to grasp us and everything is the appearance. But it's also not moving at the same time. It's only moving as a thought. For example, let's just put an example, right? Mm-hmm. What is this without thoughts? What is this without words?
Just this.
Yeah, so nothing has ever moved without thoughts. Because the only movement that appears is just the ping pong of the apparent mind. There's no mind that just goes, is this moving or is this not moving? Is this happening or is this happening? So when there's a seeming, again, this is just a story, right? When there's a seeming kind of like, every movement is not moving. Every happening is not happening. Every word is silence. Every thought is empty. Then there's just this, it's already. It's already. It's done already. It's finished. Then the mystery is just a mystery. It can't be figured out, but that's what is.
Yeah.
It's the seeming kind of like movement, right? Because this is what's happening. What's happening is there's this non-movement, and there's this movement of like, I'm almost there. How do I get to the non-movement? And it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it might be called contraction and openness, you know what I'm saying? But both are positions. Contraction, openness, contraction, openness. They're just flickers, right? But when it's seen that's what's flickering is also what is. It's just hard to kind of like, intellectualize or trying to understand. I know you're a smart guy trying to figure this out.
Well, here's sort of the thought. Is that because whatever is appearing or whatever we call it happening, it's because it's absolutely complete.
Yeah.
It's absolutely complete.
So it has not moved. It's complete. It's like like when I was trying to say, like, that blindness, like, for example, this cup will not know it's a cup because it's complete. It doesn't have a second to notice that it's a cup. It's not aware that it's a cup because there's no another to be aware of it. It's just a cup. But even a cup is so much of a word, we don't know what this is.
Right.
Yeah.
So it sort of reminds me of like the old film, like the pictures on film. It's like each film, whatever you call it, each one is like complete. And it looks like continuity and everything, but it's absolutely, it just is complete.
Yeah.
It worked, but I know, but I do. if I try to grasp, I'll notice the mind will sort of try to.
Yeah. It's just communication, right? And nothing's really just descriptive. So what usually, when it's being kind of like when it's being cornered, right? That everything that will come out from Harvey is a thought. And every thought is just to maintain the thought about the thought about a thought. And it's what is reality. So that's to kind of like, put that Einstein quote of reality is a very persistent illusion. Thoughts are very persistent illusion. There's no thoughts. So there's no movements without thoughts.
Yeah.
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 For example, you know what? You can only call this a movement by thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So without thoughts, it's already.
Yeah. I actually get it. But I can't, but I don't, but I don't even say any more than that because the moment it's like the moment I try to see, I feel that sort of an energy of trying to understand it.
Yes. So that's the appearance. That's the appearance. That's the appearance, right? That is being talked about, right? The appearance. It's just all appearances of trying to. It's like basically what's saying is that there was not even a seeking.
Yeah.
There's not even a seeking happening. Without thoughts, without words, without knowledge, without, it's already. Nothing has ever happened. And it also kind of like alludes to the illusion of time. Because there's no time. So how come anything move when there's no time? So it's like in this bubble of a time illusion that is just made up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing has ever moved, Harvey.
Yeah. It's amazing. Well, thanks. I'll let that percolate.
What's that?
I'll let that percolate.
Yeah. Okay. But there's nothing to percolate.
That's true. Because there's no percolator.
That's right. It's a trap, right? For example, you know what? If there's no seeker, there's no seeking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get. Yeah.
All right, Harvey. I can't wait to do a Zoom with your class and do these kind of things.
If I have enough people in the summer, when I do the summer registration, I'm going to let you know, and you can feel dazzled. There's no one there to dazzle.
That's right.
Well,
I'll be really, really bored and leave. You're like, what's this, Harvey? Thank you.
You're welcome. I have to say one thing. When I show snippets of you, in my current classes, their eyes glaze over.
It's the glasses that I wear. It has that effect. Yeah.
It's a reflection.
Which is pretty crooked right now. I can't find the
No,
other glass.
it's perfect at the moment.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Perfectly crooked.
Yeah, perfectly crooked. It's just what it is. Yeah. There it is. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's also kind of like expressing that there's no movement to the next moment. This is not moving. This is not moving forward. Impossible. Hi, Barbara. Hello.
I've tried to get in your Zoom 3 or 4 times. And
I'm sorry. I saw your email. Yeah.
But thanks for your email.
Of course.
I feel very challenged to try to even communicate.
Yeah.
But so I'm trying to think how am I going to say this? So there's, let's just say, start with blankness.
Yeah.
And then there's light. And it's like, what? Huh?
Yeah, it's almost like it's the speechlessness where you're like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then and here it feels like something like mind movement or seeing or trying to make sense or communicate, because from this to that, it's like something wants to go up.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to see. The movements, right? It's like, it's just basically a train of thoughts. If you really look at it, right? It's not even a train of thoughts. It's just a thoughts that pops in and out, right? And when it's popping in and out, it's just a movement, right? It's just this. But this and this are the same.
So
there's no difference. Yeah.
So the this.
And now we're doing sign language, right? This is how unspeakable it is. So the this, okay.
So this is like a cartoon or like you said.
It's like, those pictures it's like a picture, like a strip of film.
Exactly.
And there's like little black bars in between, but you don't see the black bars, so you don't see that it's not real. It's just pictures. Yeah.
So this part makes sense, the continuity of everything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of interject something. the same, but a little bit different. So yesterday, I was listening to Daryl Bailey. Do you know him?
Yeah.
That was the first time I was just like, wow, he has a little different way of seeing it.
Yeah.
And it was so refreshing for me and felt, and so I was in the forest trying to just be with my breath and knowing, or paying attention.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden my orientation, all of a sudden I felt like I could see through the forest.
Okay.
Much more.
Yeah.
My
blinders are off, basically.
Huh?
Blinders are off, basically.
Yes.
The blinds, when you
Right.
pull all the blinds, because sometimes those, what do you call those, like California blinds or something? It creates this shadow, right? So when it flops up, like you see the hole, the light, it's kind of like, oh, I'm seeing shadows, basically, right? When it's seen that the shadows and the light are the same.
Well, as soon as I start to think about it, then this happens.
Of course. Yeah. Obviously. But that's also what is.
I'm trying to I feel like, how can I say this? I don't know. I'm noticing, but then if I pay too much attention to noticing, then this happens again.
Yeah.
So I'm trying, I'm having a hard time talking about it, but it's lovely that you're even understanding me.
Yes, it's what seems to appear is that this, you know what I'm saying, is also what is. So you're thinking that this is the obscuring, right?
Right.
But it's also what is. This is also the infinite blinking, appearing as thoughts, you, whatever. So what you're looking for is this. But this is permanent and this is the same. They're simultaneously occurring. And you can't even think about it because it's kind of like stillness. It's unthinkable. It's unthinkable.
That's how some of my people I know, they have a tendency to talk about the simultaneous occurring of the non-dual and the dual. And there's something about the way.
But the problem with that one is there's a trying to reconcile both, right? Trying to think about it can't be thought about, right? So what if we just say that it's just non-duality? Everything is simply not two. Simple.
Well, it feels
even this
much
blinking
more complex than that, though.
What's that? Well, it's not really. It's just a thought that it's complex. Without thoughts, it's not complex.
Okay.
Without thoughts, there's not even this, there's not even that. It's just this. I'm just trying to deconstruct it. It's just this. It's just this immediacy, right?
This feels more immediate than the concept of that non-dual and non-duality is simultaneous.
Yeah. Because that's just another idea. It's almost kind of like putting two thoughts together, which doesn't make sense, right?
Right, but this feels sort of like fresh.
It is, yeah. Some speakers call it fresh and new.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. This is always fresh and new. But no one notices that, right? Everything is fresh and new. It's like when your eyes blink 10,000 times a day. There is no one. You don't notice that. You don't count your oh, I'm at my 8,467 blink of the day. Or that you can't even control it.
Well, I guess that's part of what becomes so toxic is that it then this becomes the movie becomes then you start to try to make sense out of it, and it
exactly
gets
but you're focusing on the illusory.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the seeking only happens in this, but this is not even happening because it's actually this.
Right. Right.
So nothing is really moving. You know what I'm saying? Nothing moving.
Well, it's only because that every second it's a different.
This is just making me crack up. This sign language.
This feels much more concrete than the concepts. You know, this feels much more concrete to me.
It's so simple that, you know, it doesn't really require kind of like intelligence, right? Because the more that you intellectualize it, the more it's kind of like, what?
Well, because that becomes more this without that.
That's right. Yeah, it's just this. It's just this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So so what seemingly is seen is not like unite, you know, like it's not like uniting thing. It is what it is. Like, for example, when we're speaking right now, it's silence speaking. This is silence. But sound is movement, right? So sound is this, silence.
But so is seeing and hearing.
And blindness, and deafness, The original title for this talk was Unconditional Love is Blindness.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Unconditional love is blindness. It does not see separation. It does not see others. It does not see nasty comments. It does not see the response to the nasty comments. It's complete blindness. It's blindness to whatever. Blindness to this. Blindness to the blinking eye. So this is nothing, and what's beyond it is also nothing. So it's blind. There's this, you know, misconception that there's an awareness that is seeing all of the witnessing.
Right. That's the hope.
That's the hope. Yeah. That's the imaginary, you know, Santa. It's a Santa evolved, you know, for the senior citizens, you know, it's the awareness. Right. So there's this hope that, you know, someone is seeing me. There's a father, that kind of thing, you know, that mythology. But that's just this, because every single thing that can be thought of is just this. When this can't be a thought.
Because the thought is more of this.
It's just this. It's just this. It's just this, and it misses this. Right. Yeah, it just functions to maintain this from, you know, being real. So it only sees this as the reality. Oh,
I can't help it but then think, how is this get so many layers? Are you going to measure me?
That's just a thought. Sorry, that's my battery's dying on my camera. It's just a thought. Many layers is just a thought. There are no layers. There are no movements.
Boy, there's this meaning rejection.
Yeah.
There's so much emotion, intense. Boo, you know, it's like, this is a movie that I can't pull myself away from. You know,
let me flip this for you. What if rejection is just the same as acceptance?
Yeah, but that's a whole different concept of
no.
fixing.
No. What if rejection is also acceptance? It's just a thought. Because who's rejecting and who's accepting? It's just this,
But that's my question is that how does continuity happen if it's just like this? How does it create continuity?
This only functions as you know, it's just basically, it functions to support the thought. So it just appears like this. When you're watching a movie, you don't see, you see continuous.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. maybe I should just digest this before that. This was, I mean, it does, even though it's part of this, to have some, have some communication, you know, it's a relief just to have a little communication around it.
Yeah. It already is. It already is. It always is. It's infinitely is. That's why it never moves. It always is. Yeah. Yeah. There's a fixation on the movement, on practices, on thinking, on appearances, on seeking, on getting there, you know, almost there, you know, I got this, I don't get this. It's just all movements. Timelessly this. Yeah, it is just timelessness. So there is no time. Time is a complete illusion. But when there is a caught up in time, then there is this idea that I started seeking when I was in 1971. I'm 51 years old now. You know, that kind of like, you know, it creates this narrative, and I hope by 2024 the seeking will end. Both are just flickers. It's a movie, it's a show, it's a play. It's an illusion, but it's also what is. There's nothing wrong or right about that. There's this idea that, how do I stop this? But it's not even, it's also already still. But it's unthinkable, right? They're like, well, I don't see stillness. That's thoughts, yeah. Isn't it delicious though?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Axel.
Hi.
Hi, Axel.
Yes,
How are you?
I'm okay.
Did you raise your hand?
No.
Oh,
my
okay, sorry.
micro was.
I just saw the unmuted button here, so
Sorry.
no worries. Feels like the me concept is the feeling of continuity. Yeah, I guess you can say that it's, you know, me is a concept, and it does feel like it's continuous, right? Because there is this, it's like there's this dream, let's just express it, right? Dream that seemingly ends and begins over and over again. But the me doesn't notice that because the dream is the me. So for example, there's a dream at night, and then there's clarity, and then the me, the dream of me again starts the daydream. This dream, right? And it sees that, oh, okay. And then it thinks that this dream is real. Although it already saw that it was not real in the morning when it woke up. It's just a dream, a dream, a dream, a dream. But what the clue behind it is that there's no beginnings or endings. Yeah. Someone just messaged me. Emerson, I can't stand your laughter. I'm going to watch someone else. Sorry. Not sorry. I get a lot of comments about that, actually, that they can't stand the laughter. Oh, thank you, Esther. There's no one that choosing to laugh or not to laugh. Anyway, just it's the funny thing about this is just the absurdity. Like, for example, I'm in hysterics explaining to Barbara this because it can't be expressed, so we're doing sign language and everything. And that's even way too much. You know what I'm saying? Because it cannot be sign languaged. My newfound superpower. Can you talk about how Emerson, I don't even know how to pronounce my name, functions daily? Again, that's just another thought, isn't it? Right? Is it really necessary to talk about thoughts, ideas about what seems to happen? I mean, it's just a story. And again, it creates this comparison that I should be like that. It creates this measurement, so to speak. It creates this division that there's something special here, that there's something that is missing there. But thank you for the question. Oh, sorry, Jane, I didn't see your question there. Is it like vertigo? Everything spins and there's a sense of no movement. I've had vertigo. It's nothing like it. It's vertigo you don't want to have, you know what I'm saying? It's wow, yeah. It's so funny though, when there was this vertigo that apparently happened, there was already no sense. It was so intense because there's no one trying to stop it, right? But it was brief. But yeah. Hey Petra.
Hi, Emerson.
Hello.
Hello. Maybe this was said already yesterday, but I have to say, I don't know if I say glad or that you, I'm talking to you as a musician, or maybe like,
yeah.
I don't want to say artist, but that you don't make your living from non-duality. That shows me that you're really, quote unquote, serious about the whole thing. It's really, then it's just like with music, when it's when you have to live from making music, or then it's getting hard, and or you become a teacher like me, and as it's not about teaching, so what to do? Yeah, you somehow have to sell you, or I mean, it's just a But I really, in German you say, ich ziehe den Hut. It's really perfect that, I mean, no one no one chose, but I'm really glad it's
yeah.
that
And it's
like
funny, right?
this.
Because there's it's just walking the talk, right? When it's expressed, it doesn't really matter. But it also doesn't really matter that there's this love to keep on speaking about this, right? That it's like I was like laughing. I'm like, wow, this speaking is becoming an expensive habit. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
because
know that.
the
I know
website
that.
kind of like, bill comes up and all of this
Yeah.
stuff comes up, and but the love
Yeah.
for it, right? It's like, oh wow, it's, and somehow, when I went back into full-time work, I produced more videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Every
Right? Because
artist
there's a love for it, right? It's kind of like,
can relate to that.
there's just this
Mm.
excitement for it, and it's not dependent on cause and
Yeah.
effect thing. It's just the love for it. Yeah.
Whoever from my students says, "Oh, I'd like to become a professional musician," oh,
No.
okay. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But
and it's the same thing with DJing, right? There was a reluctance to
Right.
kind of like, there was a I was DJing, and there's an agency that basically said, hey, we can tour all over, like all of this festival and everything, and just be a
I know
backup
that.
DJ, but that will become work.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm
And
saying? It's like,
you're a crazy artist. That's this character is really crazy artist. That's what I
that's
also
what it
love
is.
about
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Extreme and yeah. So
Exactly.
so now I even love you more if it's possible.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, beyond
you.
grateful. You know that. Yeah, but
Then I can finally go to Kiss Leg because I'll have money now. You know what I'm talking about, right? Before it's like, oh, I don't know. But yeah, soon
I know
we'll
exactly.
we'll look at the sunset, and the beautiful kind of like Kiss Leg.
Yeah.
When is Tony going there again? I don't know, but one day.
I think it's August 20th to 24th.
Maybe we'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, but I'm really happy then.
Yeah. Thank you.
Like
Thank you so much.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Oh, thank you, Ari. Having foggy memory of not liking Emerson's laugh. Yeah. What is he laughing about? It's funny because when there was this spiritual teacher, there was a lot of suppression, to be more spiritual, right? So it would suppress this sense of humor, the crass jokes, and just the aliveness, right? Because it has to look a certain way, it has to sound a certain way, and it has to present itself as a superior, I guess, which is just a joke. Thinking about a joke, what is the difference between people from Dubai and Abu Dhabi? People in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but Abu Dhabi do. Bad joke. Abu Dhabi do. I'll stop. Sorry, I'll stop. Yes, apparently, Cheryl. But this is insanity, isn't it? Right? This is really absurd. This is unthinkable. And these words are just seemingly appearing. And that's the absurdity of it all, that there's only this. Ta-da! Is there so much laughter happening too when the corporate job is happening? Apparently, yes. There's a lot of absent-mindedness here, right? So it's like I was talking to Kelsey and I'm like, I have to put in a Notion pad because I can't remember stuff, right? So I might get fired because I just don't remember a lot of stuff. But there's also a lot of lightness, right? There's a lot of lightness. And there's just a lot of non-seriousness, so to speak. And if getting fired happens, you know what? There'll be a non-duality speaker at McDonald's drive-thru saying, would you like fries with that? Or nothing? And there's a lot of energy. They don't understand the energy. They don't understand the smiling. You know, everybody turns off their Zoom thing. And here I am kind of like at 4 o'clock and they're like, are you not tired? I'm like, oh. Or I don't even know what Friday is. Everyone's looking forward to the Friday. They're like, oh, thank God it's Friday. I'm like, it's Friday? They're like, you don't know it's Friday? I'm like, no. Just a lot of absent-mindedness, a lot of just, you know, but it's the same. It's normal, right? But there's just little things that it looks like that maybe I have like an acute dementia, so to speak, because I don't remember things. Hey, maybe I can claim disability, and I'm just joking. You should do more with the sign language. That was awesome. It was clear. Yeah, thank you. Kelsey goes, I love when people say have a good weekend because there's no end and no time. Yes. Weekend, what's that? Or when I was in you know, just getting reacquainted, I was kind of like back in training to know the systems, the onboarding. You know, someone would be like, did you go on a break? I'm like, oh, break. What's a break? You know, it's just the corporate kind of like stuff. It's just what is. Kelsey also went back into to work, and it's kind of funny for her as well. How does a nobody go back to work? It's just what is. Hi, Emerson. How do you come up with all of these intros? They're awesome, but it's just mind-boggling how you come up with something new. No one really comes up with it, but in the story, like for example, today I did 4 one-on-ones already. I started at 6 o'clock in the morning. So what's being spoken in the one-on-ones when there's like a glimpse or something, then it's just really kind of like expressed, you know, there's just a lot of love for talking about something that cannot be spoken about, then speakable. And it's like playing the piano. Just something that is just, you know, it just is. It's like painting. It comes from nowhere. Accepting the flashing plus still, nothing all and all. Yeah. Allows laughter, light, spontaneous being. Yeah. There's just a softness to it, right? Because it's not trying to catch the blinking. It's not trying to find the stillness. It's just what is. It's just what is, right? And it's so the spontaneousness, although no one noticed the spontaneousness, it's just this wondrous, unimaginable. It's just unimaginable. This is just a story, and this is not, you know, I was walking this morning, and there's this song called, I was talking to Kelsey about, I always love walking in a golden hour where there's this beautiful, goldenness. And of course and this is just a story. This is not synchronistic or whatever. There's this song that I like. It's called Golden Hour. And it was playing and there was just tears. I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful. There's this piano. I love piano, of course. So there's this beautiful riff in the beginning. And it's almost like, the person that wrote, it's a young kid that wrote it. His name is Jake. I don't know if you know that song. It's called Golden Hour. And it's just in loveness. It's captured in a song, the in loveness. It's just like this. It's the enjoyment of the blinking and the enjoyment of the stillness. It's the acceptance and the rejection. It's just what is. So if you really look at it, we're talking about the blinking, and enlightenment or awakening is a movement. It's this. When it's already this. So seeking for this, you will never find because it doesn't exist. It already is. That's it. That's it. Hi, Barbara.
I'm going to follow through just because it was so delicious to share this with you. And because I've tried to share it with other people and they didn't get it. And I feel like, I felt so much more connection. And I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's almost like everything is softening now, right? It's beginning to be, because it's the openness, right? It's like, okay, it's not about understanding it. Yeah, it's just movement and stillness. It's like, so language even does not matter. It starts to evaporate, right? You're like, because there's going to be talks of like, is that the Atman, the Brahman, all of these words that are just really just distractions. It's just this.
And staying more time with this or this is also just constantly, it's draining.
It's so draining. Yeah.
So draining. And to realize
it already is. Yeah.
It's so
right. It's a relief. It's like lightness. You're like, okay, I can relax my shoulder now because I'm not kind of like contracted and trying to figure out something that can't be figured out.
Because this is where all the pain is.
It is, yeah. Throbbing pain, this is it. Right. Because it's almost like you're trying to fill in the blanks of what this is. Right? It is this. It's blank slate. Yeah. That's moving. It's dancing stillness. Yeah. Again, there's too many words. Too many words. Just this. Yeah.
Yeah. Dancing stillness. That's lovely.
Yeah.
And I love piano and cello.
Yeah. It's with piano, what I learned in Petropov, what I learned with it is that the pauses are so dramatic. And so, like the silence in between, right? I even like when I hear the keys being hit, like that kind of like, it's beautiful. Yeah. It's like, it's just like silence playing music. That's basically it. Which is also the pulsation, right? It's just silence as an orchestra.
When I was a child, I was fascinated with the piano.
Yeah.
I wanted to walk around it. How does it create this?
Yeah.
There's something so beautiful about the piano. Yeah.
There is. Yeah, there is. There's, kind of like my walk this morning again. This is just a story, right? I was walking and that song played and there was a golden, and then there was just my puppy is smiling and I kind of like, and I'm laughing hysterically at just the what? It's like it never ends. It
Yeah.
never ends, right? It never ends. And then yesterday, I posted something on Facebook, and one of my best friends' mom that my best friend that passed away's mom said, "Hey, Jonathan's friend," and that just brought this like flood of like, "Oh, Jonathan, I wish he was here." You know what I'm saying, to speak about what is, because we used to he was a really good best friend. You know, we would spend hours talking about, questioning, what is. And he was the youngest professor of literature, so he was very intellectual. And we would sit down and just talk about, and again, it's not just the bliss, it's also the sadness, right? It's also this, but the peace with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, blessings to your friend and
Yeah.
your relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's just what is. And there's no choice. That's right, Eric. There's no choice. Who can have a choice when it's just blinking? Are you going to post these videos? Maybe some of it. Yeah. Yeah. The time management is getting seemingly better. Just in the initial 3 weeks, it was just kind of like, Oh, that's beautiful, Marcy. The music is not in the notes, but in the silence between Mozart. Yeah. Hi, Emerson. What was that song again? Let me see if I can Google it up. Maybe I don't know the title completely, but let me see. It's a young guy that plays it. It's one of those TikTokers that has this song, and I think he independently did it without any and the funny thing about the story is like he went back into his old piano teacher and played it for his piano teacher, this song. Oh, there it is. I found it. It's a pop song, so it's not like, but it has a beautiful piano intro. I shared it in the chat. Oh, yeah, yeah. Laura knows the song. She beat me to it. But mine is the official video, though. Just kidding.
Any child suffering today of cancer is...
Oh, I don't know who that was. when there was a spiritual teacher, I only listened to Tony calls it vegan music. So I only listen to spiritual music. But there always was a love for hardcore rap and death metal and rave music and that kind of stuff. And once in a while I'll play it and I'll feel so dirty afterwards. It's like eating an all-you-can-eat chicken wing when you're a vegan. Thank you for the demonstration, Emerson, of the sign language. Can you talk about the difference between that and awareness? Sure, yeah. So when there is this seeming idea that there is an awareness, that there is consciousness, or there is a seeming appearance of an observer or witness, what seems to appear is that the consciousness or awareness is something that has to be reconciled, something that has to be united, something that has to be aware of aware. So there's two. And this one has to recognize that this is this. But there's no recognizing this because this appearance is what is already. It's already complete. It's not about witnessing. So what's being expressed is there's nothing behind your eye and there's nothing beyond your eyes, meaning it's all really nothing. And this appearance of blinking is just not even there. It's like your eyelids, you know what I'm saying? But it's all nothing. There's nothing inward. And what seems to be with this, again, there's nothing wrong or right about that. What seems to be with being aware is that there is a duality in that already. I was talking to someone, I'm not going to mention a teacher that I was talking to in my one-on-one with, but it's just so, how do I say it in a really nice way? It's very full of it, you know what I'm saying? Because it creates this it intellectualizes something that is really, it's a spiritual intellectualization. It creates this belief system, intellectualized, but it's just this. It's a thought. Awareness is a thought. The moment that someone comes into a position, someone comes into an attainment or an acknowledgement even, or a belief system, then it's just this. Nothing wrong or right about that. It's just what is. But what's being expressed here is the completion of something that's never been separate. It always is. Always is non-duality. Always already this. And there's nothing that can be figured out. There's no practice, or there's no recognition, and there's no definitely not being aware of awareness. Again, there's nothing wrong or right about that. But if it gets caught up, there's a caught upness in intellectualizing that. This is not about a concept. This is not about an intellectualization, because non-duality is not really a thing or a subject. It's not a set of rules. It's not a philosophy. It's not a belief system. It's not even about correct words. It's just what is. It's already complete. It's not about anything at all. Do you think conception, the movement to make a baby or a me, is the blinking, taking on too much of that and not enough the stillness? That's just another thought. It's just another thought. Everything will come up, will be a thought, will be a blinking, trying to support that this is real. This is not. It tries to make a position, right? For example, like on a conversation that I had earlier, this character was being cornered that everything that the character will be in rebuttal with will just be a thought. And what's being expressed is not a thought. It's just trying to find in here, in this blinking thoughts and everything, what cannot be expressed in here. Because it is already. It doesn't have to be uttered even. It's the unmentionable. It can never be mentioned. So blinking is stillness, stillness is blinking. Just to clarify that. It's the same. Oh, so when you die, there is still what is. What's death even, other than a thought? What's you even, other than a thought? All that there is this. It's just this. It cannot. To blink or not to blink, that's the question. But there's no one blinking, and there's no one thinking. It's just what is. Thank you, Laura. Question here. Can practice such as being a body lose the sense of me? Have some openness, even a practice not directly led to recognize this? So in a certain way, still helpful. There's nothing wrong or right about practice. But when there's seeking happening, the practice seems to be attached in trying to attain. So practice is just this. It doesn't really matter. But when coupled with a neurotic seeking tendency, practice can be quite frustrating because it will never, ever attain anything, because everything is already. It already is. I used to teach practices when I was a teacher. I used to practice practices for 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours per day, and nothing led to this. Again, nothing has ever happened. Nothing has ever moved. So practices are a movement, and trying to find the non-movement, which is just another movement, is just another thought. It's like the movement to find stillness misses the stillness in the movement. It already is. There's nothing that needs to be figured out. There's nothing that needs to be known. There's nothing that needs to be practiced. But if practicing happens, that's also it. There's no one choosing to practice or not. Do you still practice? No. It's been about a few years, 5, 6 years. To practice what? It already is. What do you think about the multitude of humans born, or the many of flowing somethings repeating, like the sun comes up and the moon appears when the sun is on the other side of the earth? What do you think of night dreams? Do you think about them over and over? No. They're just dreams. It's just this. There's just this peacefulness to seemingly what seems to happen, because none of it is also happening. Not a denial, but not also an acceptance. It's just what is. Neither accepted, neither rejected. It's just what is. It always is. Thank you, Zabi. Hi, Zabi. So freaking beautiful. Well, I can say fucking so fucking beautiful. Sorry, on YouTube. It's on. Sorry. So beautiful. Can you talk about the difference before, now, and then? Again, to try to compare again is try to, it's just a story. It's just a narrative, right? So there's this seeming comparison of this is a better state, then that was a wrong state. It's just all of this. So what's being expressed is that anything goes. What's being expressed is that this is not a solution to problems. If bills still have to be paid, bills will be paid, you know what I'm saying, or not. It's also just what is, but there's just this, again, you know what, this is just an expression of it. There's just this calmness. About it, yeah. Does frustration still happen? Frustration happens, but not for anyone. It's not the narrative anymore. There's no more story of someone that's getting frustrated. For example, I go to this park and I let my little doggy, Alabella, and then she likes chasing the ducks. So there's like, Ella, come back here. You can't eat the ducks. But that's just what appears. But there's no more, yeah, it's just a story. It's just this. It's the peace in the frustration. There it is. And it's the peace in the rage. It's the peace in the chaos. It's the beauty in anarchy. It's just what is. Do you still pay attention to the news? It doesn't really matter if paying attention or not paying attention matters. Again, it's trying to do a comparison of what's better or not. And that seems to be, there is no comparison. It's already this. So who cares if there's a paying attention to news or not paying attention to news? But seemingly in this story, it just likes walking around with the doggy. That's basically it, yeah. And eating a lot. And listening to non-vegan music. But there's nothing wrong with listening to vegan music. It's just what is. I get a lot of giggles now though, because when I was doing mantras, I was not really focusing on the call and response. I would lead a call and response. I would focus on my pronunciation. So the whole time I was thinking about, am I singing this right? Which defeats the purpose of the mantra, which is supposed to be to, mantra means to stop the mind. And here I was kind of like saying, am I saying Om Namah Shivaya correctly? Or, you know, Hare Hare, that kind of stuff. It's just really funny. So I can't take it seriously now. When I hear a call and response, I just get the giggles nonstop. Yeah. But there's nothing wrong or right about it. And every time I did something spiritual, I always had like a scarf on. It made me feel spiritual. Yeah, like a really nice scarf on. In the middle of summer too. Costumes. So what has really changed? Again, this is not about a story about Emerson, because it's not about what Emerson, has changed or whatever, because that's just becomes a carrot. That's why I'm making fun of it, right? Because there's really no story that matters. This story doesn't matter. Any stories doesn't matter. It's trying to find the shimmer. It's all blank. Nothing has happened. Nothing has ever moved. All of this narrative about before and after is getting caught up in this. And there's nothing wrong with getting caught up in this. It's just what is. So enough with the Emerson interview of how this was before. Love you, but yeah. That was yesterday as well. It's like let's interview Emerson. If you want to talk to me about interview, just there's nothing wrong or right about it, but yeah. It's not about, it's not about a self-improvement. So, non-duality is not about the self-improvement. There's no self to improve. There's no self that improved here. Esther. Hi, Esther.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, where do I start? So I've been, it's really tired, you know how it is. So I've been on this seeking frenzy, obviously. But not like a spiritual like not like enlightenment seeking frenzy, but more like a manifestation, your thoughts create your reality kind of.
Yeah.
Which I've always like, that's always been that my main like story or interest or like.
Yeah.
And then when I came across the non-dual message like a year ago, that kind of brought that up even more.
Okay.
Because I was like, okay, there's no one, but like it's so obvious that, you know, like thoughts create reality, or like the lived experience.
But do they really do?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. So in the past year or something, I've been on this, like, I don't know, it feels like this two-ended seek. I don't know, like on one hand, I'm listening to the non-duality message.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm listening to like manifestation, law of assumption, you know, all that kind of stuff. I know that there's no
I used to
choice
do the
in
same
that.
thing. That's why I'm laughing with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah, I mean, I know this, you know.
And I'll be
know
like, oh, it's Mercury retrograde right now. That's why I'm not manifesting properly. That kind of thing. But go ahead.
No, and it's just kind of, I don't know. It's mind-boggling because I still, like, full transparency, I still like believe that, like, it's kind of obvious that thoughts create reality. Like, if you always assume that like people are rude to me, people are always rude to me, or vice versa, or like,
yeah,
that seems to be a thing. But I mean, I guess you would say for no one, or like there's no one choosing the thoughts or something, right? Or like, I don't know.
we can even go further if you like. Do you want to go further?
Please, by the way.
So all that is being expressed are just all thoughts.
Yeah.
Even reality is a thought.
But you see, but this is exactly why.
What's that?
This is exactly why.
Yeah.
I'm like, I should be able to levitate.
I'm levitating right now about 4 inches. It's just a thought. It's always the thought always seems to, take away from this, right? It's almost like an avoidance of what this is, thinking about manifesting something in the future, in the past.
Yeah.
So it lives in a fantasy world of thoughts. And it believes in this fantasy of thoughts and manifestation and everything. And it creates this fantastical thought. And it can be hellish because you can't control thoughts. You can't control reality because you are only a thought.
Yeah.
But there are no thoughts. But there are no reality. So nothing can be manifested. It is already. The abundance is already this. So manifestation is poverty.
Yeah. But and you see, like, you see, like a year, or I don't know, a couple months ago, or even yesterday, I don't know, like when you say like, this is already abundance, I'm like, ka-ching, all right, so like, how do I cash this in? Like,
I'm not talking about wealth and money.
No, I know, but like there's this automatic thing of like, how do I, like,
so the
idea
thought tries to come up,
knowledge.
Yeah, the thought comes up with another thought to avoid this, right? When I'm saying abundance, there's this air. Seemingly, there's this light. There's this speaking to emptiness itself that thinks that it can manifest a different kind of emptiness. It's talking to itself. This is like miraculous that it's talking to itself, and it's landing on deafness. It's not hearing that this is already the abundance, not as a thought, not as an idea, but the unspeakable is appearing. Is listening, is watching, is hearing, is talking, is appearing as whatever. But none of this is happening. Nothing has ever moved. And it gets busy thinking about what should be, what could be. When walking in the golden light, golden hour, it's just the quietness, the peacefulness is priceless. Breathing is priceless. Everything is just this wondrousness, right? But there's nothing wrong or right about anything that you're doing as well.
No, but like I hear, the frustration, like I hear you fully intellectually.
Yeah.
But like then like there's walking, and then there's like trying to just walk, you know what I mean? And just like, okay, sky check, like grass check. Like I'm very like taking all of this. I don't know. It's just all glorified.
Yeah.
If we'll make that a word.
There was a time, this is kind of like the old dad speak, because I'm older. There was a time when I'm 51, so I could be.
By the way, I thought you were like 30 or something.
Oh, thank you. 30. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, there was an apparent time in this story, right? That there was this excitement about wealth and all that kind of stuff to be manifested and everything. It seemingly got the wealth and everything only to give it away. So it's just desire circling back and forth, right? A desire to have more, a desire to be, it's just desire. Even when you have everything, there's going to be desire to not have any more desires. So there's just this apparition of appearances of desire, of wanting and getting, and always, it's seeking basically. Manifestation is seeking.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I still do it. So.
Yeah. What's being expressed is that the biggest price is nothing. It's the peace. It's the contentment. It's a seeing that it's already complete. It's already done. There's nothing left to be wanted. So Joe Dispenza and all of those characters can be kind of like manifesting billions and billions of dollars, but it will never stop the desire.
Yeah, but it's also cool, for example,
there's nothing wrong or right about it again.
Like, and like, like, for example, his stuff, I'm not like super into anyone specifically, but like
sorry, I should have not mentioned his name. Because I was into it. That's why I was so super into it.
Whatever. I don't know. He's great. Whatever.
Yeah.
But like, for example, his stuff like apparently like heals people from like,
I've heard the opposite too, though. So, like, but it's okay. It's just a story.
Well, yeah, but like, okay, you say that, but like, isn't that nice though? Like, isn't it?
There's nothing wrong or right about that. Yeah,
being happy over sick. No, like.
But look more into it. It's just what's being expressed. It's giving a lot of false hope to a lot of characters as well. It's a lot of dangling carrot.
But I think. But surely it's like nice to know that there is that possibility.
Of course, yeah. As a thought.
Like there is that possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you're not saying it's right or wrong either way.
Yeah.
So like
it's just what is, yeah.
But, like, it's like I don't know. Like
it is what is. And there's really no one to choose to do any of this, right? So
Yeah.
If that's what seems to be happening there, you know what I'm saying? If there's this attraction to law of attraction, it's just what is. So what?
I guess it's interesting to me, just in a sense, not that like there can be a level where one is fulfilled like within the dream, but more of like,
but there's no
just
one.
just a new way to interact with so-called reality. But then again, there's no one to interact with nothing, and blah blah blah. So like,
Yeah, isn't it a bit insanity? Kind of like joining the two,
You mean
non-duality and manifestation.
I don't know, man. You tell me.
But you know what? There's really nothing happening, but you know, there's this almost like this.
No, but and actually, this is interesting though, because I have seen a couple speakers kind of link this up, and even possibly the one you were earlier talking about, who's talking about like awareness and stuff these days, is giving a more like empowering message, where it's like you can shift your world, your experience, you can shift your so-called reality.
I think encouraging messages are, you know, when especially when it's seen that there's no one doing anything, it's actually cruel.
Shit.
It creates this false hope, and it leads to a lot of heartbreak. It leads to a lot of suffering.
And why are you calling it false hope?
Because there's no one to improve.
Right.
Yeah. It simply already is. When I was a spiritual teacher, that's what I did. I taught manifestation, and I taught, you know, everything, awareness, consciousness, and everything. And it ate me up, and I felt really guilty because everything that I was teaching was a fraud. There's nothing wrong or right about it, but that's just what's being expressed.
Yeah, and it's a pretty painful story here at the moment, because since I've been down this frenzy, things haven't been working out, you know. And so it's like, I'm thinking the wrong thoughts. I need to be better. I need to fix myself.
Exactly, that there's something wrong with you, which is really cruel.
Yeah.
It's really cruel. It's actually, you know, it's just a story, but it's very evil. It's just a story, you know what I'm saying? But in the story, it's a lot of suffering to get into that mindset that there's something that I'm doing wrong, that there's something wrong with me. And there's this authority figure that has billions of dollars, and you're giving him all your money and all of your attention, and he's doing well. Well, someone's getting duped. But it's just what is.
Why is someone getting duped though?
You just said that, you know, that you're having all of these thoughts and everything, and someone has a lot of money, and there's this, you were just basically saying that, you know. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't given anyone money, so that's
okay.
That's
but the belief system,
because I haven't managed to manifest any, so you know.
That's what I thought too.
You mean what?
That's what I thought too. You know, that I just have to manifest it. It's always looking for the next. It's always looking for, I'm not quite there. Meaning there's something wrong right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's totally.
Isn't that suffering?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Absolutely.
So what if what's being presented is just the end of suffering? That there's no next. It's just this. It's already this. And this is just radical honesty. It's just this already. No carrot, no promises. It's already this. No false hope, no fantasy. It's just this. It's like sobriety. There's the intoxication of, you know, having a lot of money. This is sobriety. It's just this. And there's no one choosing to take this or not. But it's always this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Katerina, hello.
Hi again.
Hi, Katerina. Where are you? It's dark there.
Sorry, it's dark. In this world of illusion,
Yeah.
Manifestation exists because I just manifested all these manifestation questions I wasn't daring to ask, and somebody else asked them for me. So, so it works. Sorry.
But that's just a thought about that.
I just
There's
want to
no
say,
proof,
Katerina,
really.
that I had a feeling that someone wanted to ask this question as well. So there you
But
go.
that's just another thought. See?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you add the word manifestation to it, then it becomes a special thought. It's intoxication again.
Okay, before this came up, it
Sorry,
was
go
just
ahead.
like the word intuition was used, that there is a thought going out there and somebody's picking it up like an intuition before this whole new age manifestation thing happened. But I agree that I understand, and I agree that this is just thoughts, and you can play with them, but it's just thoughts, and
it's just thoughts. It's just thoughts after thoughts after thoughts after thoughts.
After thoughts.
Yeah, it's just this, just really simplifying it, right?
Yeah. I have been following a lot of non-dual teachers over the past year, and I have seen that okay, the liberation is there, it's true, but I have seen that the character is changing.
Like who?
And I have seen that non-dual teachers in have on YouTube expressed how even though they're liberated, healing continues, and things that have not stopped, had not stopped before liberation, are not mended, come up. And they are again healed, maybe in a different way with less resistance, and there is more immediacy to it. But that continues. And I was wondering, so since we're here waiting for something to dissipate on its own, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
Isn't it a good idea to dangle in all these in healing things, so that
Well, if there's still intoxication, then what's another high?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
If there's intoxication with all of these, modalities, and there's nothing wrong or right about seeking is intoxication, basically, right? Seeking for a liberation from, this apparent thoughts that there's something lacking. And there's always going to be other modalities that tries to kind of there's always going to be a lot of non-dual speakers that are still seeking. And that's why they keep on flip-flopping their messaging. Because there's just this expression, you know what I'm saying? And then when they're still kind of like healing, they're still seeking appearing there. And there's nothing wrong or right about that. It's just basically being expressed that that's what seems to be going on. And there's nothing wrong or right about healing and everything. But I did that about 10 years ago when I was speaking about awareness and all that kind of stuff. I still had that belief system and healing was still happening. There's no regrets whatsoever, but a thought basically came that maybe there should have been time of just clarity. So when there's clarity, you know what I'm saying? There's just sobriety speaking, that there's nothing needed. It's already complete. And whatever, like if there's a wanting to go here and there, there's no one choosing to do any of that. But as I mentioned earlier, there's nothing that has ever happened. So all of this blinking, all of these thoughts, all of these ideas just seem to obscure what is already. And there's nothing wrong about, the obscuring of it. But what is already being expressed is already complete. There's no self to improve. If healing happens, healing happens. You know what I'm saying? But it's not trying to kind of like find me. This is really uncomplicated, what's being expressed here. This is really the simplified, just what is. It's just simplicity. Again, there's no one choosing to, do manifestation and everything. If that belief system, which is basically intoxication with kind of like fantasies about something, to happen, everything, something better, then that's completely all right. There's nothing wrong or right about that. What's just being expressed here is that simply what is already is. Even if it is seeking for other, whatever, it already is.
Okay, that was a bit complicated, but but yeah, I'll have to live with it. Okay. It's like this not another. I'm not going to say any names, but another non-dual teacher. I came upon her, and she was like saying, "I cannot even see you. You're not even there.
Yeah.
You're like pixels." And I was like, "What is going on? It's just psychedelics, But no,
Yeah.
I find that a lot of liberated beings talk like that because they see things like that, and that is, that is I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here we are talking about manifestation. It must be two different worlds.
There's no world. There's not even one or two. It's just no world. Everything
the world
is
of
just
thoughts and the world of not thoughts.
Those are two worlds. There's no worlds. There's no thoughts. There's no world of no thoughts. It's just what is.
Okay.
It's just really simplifying it, before it goes into a rabbit hole of, thoughts and thoughts and thoughts, because thoughts about more thoughts and everything is just what is.
Okay.
Yeah. So for example, without thoughts, what's being seen here is just this. It's just sees emptiness, not pixels or whatever, because that's just another idea. It's just what is, emptiness. It sees nothing. It's blind. All right. Thank you so much.
So are you saying that speakers who are apparently liberated and yet still report like healing or whatever, are they not in fact liberated and still dreaming? Is that
there
what
are no
you're saying?
speakers? There's just seekers. You know what I'm saying? It's still seeking energy, seemingly, right? Because it's going back and forth with different communication and everything. So it's seeking, just being plain with it, right? It's still seeking.
But okay.
It's a movement.
Yeah.
This is the full stop. This is basically saying it's already done.
But like hasn't like oh okay this is an interesting one. No, like so do you think is Byron Katie liberated?
There's no Byron Katie.
Okay.
Yeah.
She'd say that as well, so I guess yes.
But there's a practice there, isn't it? Right? There's still, okay, I'm not, you know what? There's still a practice, but there's still something wrong, right? So when there's, let me just put it this way, just to uncomplicate things. If there's a teaching happening, if it's addressing someone to do things or to practice, if I tell you, you have to close your eyes for 20 minutes each day and meditate, then there's something wrong with you. There's something to teach you. What's being expressed here is that you are not here already. This is already emptiness. There's nothing to teach. There's nothing to know. It's already perfect. This is already abundance. If someone comes to you and tells you that you have to do some work, then that's a teaching. Yeah. And again, there's nothing wrong or right about that. In the story, it probably helps the story. But what's being expressed here is not the story. It's a seeing that it's already done. So if work still needs to be done, that's completely all right. You know what I'm saying? Then this communication is so it's not a prescription. It's not to fix stuff. It's not to make things better. It doesn't see better. It doesn't see worse. You don't have to do any work because there's no one to do the work.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Maybe this video will not be released. Too many names mentioned, apparently. Might get a letter from... Well, thank you so much, everyone. Someone reminded me it's break time. I didn't... Oh, wow. Thank you so much. We'll be back in about an hour. And we're going to do some manifestations. And just kidding. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Emerson.
Bye.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.